Hi guys, it's been a little while since we talked to you, so we thought we would just do a little face-to-face here and just catch up. We've been taking a quick break from the shipping container. We should be starting back up on this in a couple of weeks, but in the meantime, right now, we have to get the garden put together. There's only so much time we have to plant. Jay was off helping some friends, and so I grabbed a skid steer and started working on the garden. Also, Jay is moving some materials from the front of the shipping container that really drives us nuts.
Trying to clean up the area a little bit and do a little outside work now that the weather is finally better, and we've got a lot of work to do on the outside as well. When I can get rid of the blue tarps, or most of them, out of my life, I'll be really happy, because man, I got a lot of things under blue tarps. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the future.
What you doing, big guy?
Huh?
Huh? What you doing?
I don't know.
This is what really stresses us. It's such an eyesore for us. So we know that we are going to get to it, but we've decided to, just to help our mental fortitude, right, honey?
Yeah.
We're gonna move it to behind the container, so at least when we drive in, we can see a nice clean area. So right up there is a pile of rocks, and this is the rockiest ground, and we've got them anywhere from, I mean, all sizes. So the plan is to take all of these rocks, and when we scoop out this area all through here, build a retaining wall with those rocks and just clean it up a little bit, make it simple, but use everything that we have as much as possible on site. That's already our resources. That goes on the inside of the house. I called it siding, but I mean shiplap. But that just feels so much better already. This area out, continuing from that point there. We might have to take those couple of trees out right there, those saplings. Our plan is eventually to go through and clear all this up, and that means reducing some of the unhealthy saplings to give the healthy maples that we have more nutrients and sunshine. So what he's doing right now is he's taking all of the topsoil and moving it over to the right. You can see we have gravel here, and then we have larger stones to the right of that, and then we're going to have our topsoil. And that topsoil will be used for planters, whatever I need in the garden there. And those stones that we have behind Jay, right there, those we're going to use for a base of our, we have a fire pit that's going to go around there, so that we have it between mom and dad, so when we have company, it'll be a nice place to go. So that's the plan. And then once we get this carved out, it slopes. You can see how the driveway slopes this way, and once we get that carved out right there and all the way through here and transition, because there's a deep spot right in there, we're going to transition and get it all nice and smooth, and then right where that little wall will be, then we'll go ahead and use the rocks that that have to be picked up anyways in this area will then start getting stacked, and with some concrete we'll create a nice little wall. So last year I lost a good portion of my squashes and cucumbers to... What you doing over there, big guy? To powdery mildew, and it was so severe that I lost all but maybe 2 or 3 pumpkins. I had about 30 over a 3-day weekend that I was out of town, and by the time I got home and I realized it, I had to basically there was nothing I could do. I don't want my rows to still harbor that fungus, because that's what powdery mildew is. So I have peroxide in my container here, and I am going to spray with a strong solution of peroxide and water. So before I prep my garden and get everything out here with the skid steer, I want to sterilize the soil that I do have, that I do know was affected by this, and so that's what I'm doing. Hey guys. So they had ducks and turkeys, and of course the chickens. They are going to raise a turkey for us for Thanksgiving. I'm kind of excited about that. These guys have been incredibly kind to Jay and I. So Linda and Dave, if you're listening to this, thank you for everything that you do for us. Well, hello there, little girl. So apparently she's brooding, and I was told not to mess with her. But let's see how many eggs we have. 1 there. And 6 down there, 7, 8. Not bad for a day's work, huh? Oh, nope, we missed a bunch over here. Well, hello. So funny that they're coming in to check to see who I am. Look how they're peeking around that corner. They're trying to figure out who I am. They really are a bunch of nosy hens. Look at that field, you guys. This is my home. This is where I live, in this area. It's hard to believe because it's so beautiful. I just made brownies, going to a Bible study. So you can imagine climbing out of the chicken coop and into the car that smells like brownies. Quite a difference. So as you know, I am trying to get my garden done. And I need to get some more topsoil because I've expanded the rows. I haven't expanded the size of the garden just added more rows. So I needed to get some of the topsoil, and Jay and I were wanting to clean this area up here. And then because this is our storage unit, we want to get and add some gravel to this area because we travel back and forth a lot. And as you can see, it's pretty, it's a lot of dirt there. Great dirt, except for when it's raining. Then of course it's a mucky mess. So the idea is to get this cleaned up. I've taken down a couple of trees. I think the root systems right there were damaged. I did that right there, but even further, they were damaged a little from when this area, this whole lot was cleared. So I'm taking down a lot of the dead trees. The one on the left wasn't dead, but it is a popple. It grows exceptionally fast and they serve really no purpose in this area. So that's all wood that we call junk wood, gopher wood. There was a giant pile of debris there and good, really good topsoil that had been pushed from clearing the property. So I'm using this. And then my goal is to, we have 10 acres all through here. My goal is to make a path to make this acreage usable and enjoyable. So I'm taking the path of least resistance, which means I don't want to have to use a chainsaw. The popples are easy to push down with a skid steer. So I'm just kind of meandering along through the woods, and you can see this is incredibly beautiful topsoil. So I'm going through here. You can see a lot of debris that is down. And I'm just, the nice thing about it is when I hit wood like this that goes across here, it literally explodes. It's punky wood. It's been dead for a long time. You can see here, right there, it just explodes on impact, which is nice because it adds peat to the soil. So as I'm picking it up for my garden, I've got really great black soil and peat mixed. All in this area over here are springs. So I have to be really careful. I've already gotten the skid steer stuck once a couple of days ago. Jay and I walked the property. Yeah, we both agreed on where we should go, and I did. And it was deceiving. I got stuck. Wasn't super bad, but I didn't want to go any further, so I hopped off and went and got Jay with the truck and had him pull it out fairly quickly. But I don't want that to happen again, so I'm trying really carefully. We haven't had any rain, but you can see here the difference between that drier, I hope you guys can see it, the drier dirt versus what I'm starting to get into. So I went this way first, and then I noticed we started getting some really black, which means the soil is getting wetter. Now, what I'm watching are two things. One, whenever you get really bumpy hills in the woods, which you can, I don't know, probably not picking up here at all, but there's several of those. Whenever you get those, that's a higher water table, so it freezes and thaws and pushes up the ground. One is right here particularly. Two, I'm looking for more and more cedar trees, which I'm starting to see that I'm running into, and those cedar trees are an indication of a boggier land, which I don't want to get into. We have a ton of ash trees that were taken out by the emerald ash borer. I want to be careful of those, that I don't drop those on me. There's one right here. This thing is completely dead. I don't even want the vibration of the skid steer to cause me an issue. So I'm going to try to avoid that, and they're all through here. We lost a ton of them. There's one up there, I don't know if you can see. It's pretty tall. That's probably a 60, 70 foot tree. So I'm going to work with what I have so far, use some wisdom here to the best of my ability, stop where I have and clean up the rest of this that I have done so far, have Jay walk it with me, and use what I do have as far as the topsoil, because you can see, maybe you can't see, but the terrain is pretty, I could clean it up quite a bit. I probably could get 2 more rows out of what I have here, and then reevaluate when Jay's here and he's got the truck, and and maybe he can see some things that I don't see. And then I want to start getting hanging lights and just attach them all along the trees, all along the trail, so at night it's nice and lit. Just kind of like just off in the trail, and maybe put a couple trail cams up and see what we see. So if nothing else, at least we'll have a nice place to walk. We might even put some gravel, but for now, that's the plan. Our biggest thing is to get my garden in and get this cleaned up. Neither Jay nor I can handle this debris. It's driving us nuts. We like a very clean and tidy space. And I'll tell you what, when you go from nearly 3,000 square foot house to a 300 square foot house, and you think you sold all your possessions, and you realize that you have not, and you're trying to find use for and spaces for things, it's not as easy as it sounds. So you can see here, we have outlets, and I'm super excited about these outlets because I asked them to put a couple in here. And of course we have one, so when we do the generator, when we lose power. But the wonderful thing about this outlet is I can plug in for the lights and string them along the trail and have it be almost like a storybook. And that's my plan. Now Jay may not think that way, but he did like that idea, so we'll see. But I got to get back to work because it's supposed to rain the next couple of days. We desperately need it, so I got to get my dirt in place in the garden there. I've gotten 3 rows done, and I got to finish the rest. We're going tonight to get some cow manure from my cousin to lay on top of these because I'm trying to keep these, try to go as organic as possible. So I got to get that in place before it rains as well. And I think I can at least get my raspberries and my potatoes planted before the weekend. That's my goal. And so if I stand here and keep talking, as I'm so apt to do, it's less work that gets done. You ever wonder what a sandhill crane sounds like? He probably stands as tall as I do.